Question: would you agree men do value fertility? Like in general, men prefer younger women.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what age do you think it's over? When would you qualify women as leftover? Because at some point, like, the guys aren't lining up for girls at 75, right? so at some point it ends, right? Where would you pinpoint that? And I'm curious for you. Why don't you guys all give your answers? Yeah. So when you start.
Okay. First of all, to be 21. But at 21, by the time you reach 35, what have you been doing? Like, say 20. We start our relationships. What did we say?
Speaking to the mic.
Oh, sorry, brother. Why did I have to be the first to do that? But yeah, so you start your relationships from like 16 to 35. All them years, what have you been doing? You've had ups, you've had downs. Going back to what you say, by then there's issues, there's trauma, there's, you've been through a lot. You've got certain guards up because you've been hurt in certain ways. You're seeing similar traits in partners that you saw in somebody else. That's why when I say at 35, if I see you at 35, I'll be able to recognize, okay, this has happened to you. That's happened to you. You've put this time frame on that. I don't want to do this until then. And at 35, what's that? Geriatric pregnancy. So it's high risk pregnancy. So for men, we have babies until the end of time. For you, from 35, it gets risky. It does. So you can say, if I'm single today, which I'm not, but if I was, I've got to go down the spectrum because I don't want that risk. Why am I going to have a risk? You're 35, you're going to have certain baggage because we all got baggage. So, but, by then it's other people's stuff that's coming into my relationship. And guess what? I don't want it. So by 35, you need to be more or less in your stride with someone. Even if it's not marriage, you shouldn't be on the market at 35. So I'm not saying you have to be married, but I'm saying you need to be clearly off the market. But what do you think?
I'm not too sure. Like, I wouldn't class people being that's over 35 as leftovers. I feel like that's a bit of a kind of rude term, but I feel like regardless of the age, you're still gonna go through shit like in life. You're always gonna go through stuff. Me personally, I would like for me to be like in a stable relationship, which I don't feel like I'm ready for right now. I'd want to be like stable in myself, like mentally, like, and before I bring that to someone else, because like if I'm in a relationship with someone and it's now becoming and I come with all my baggage, that's going to cause issues in the relationship if I'm not secure. In terms of the age I would consider, I don't know. I don't really know, because then, like you said, people that are like 70 plus years old, no one's really, I mean, very few probably, but like, I don't know. And then at the same time as well, we did say like looks kind of,
you start with looks.
Yeah, you start with looks. There's people that are 35 that don't look 35.
There is that.
So
but
then
once I know. Okay, just one quick question. Have you've been in a relationship before?
Yeah.
Yeah? And it's affected you? I'm not saying negative or positive. I'm just saying it's affected you. It's changed the course of why you've decided, I'm just finding me, I'm doing this. So 15 years of that. I find you in 15 years' time have gone through that. All right, let's say 3 or 4 times. That's nobody really wants what you're going to come with, because you would have done it many times and you haven't figured it out. You haven't self-diagnosed yourself and found out what you need to do. So that's why I say at 35, it's different when you're young, but if you keep, and I'm not saying this to you, we're just having a conversation, but just in general, if you keep doing the same thing and getting the same outcome, by the time we meet, I'm 40, you're 35, I'll be like,
What if it's just like bad luck?
4 times. And I'm saying 4 times because I'm being respectful. I'm saying 4 times because I'm being respectful.
Yeah, can I just say that? You're saying about 35. Mm-hmm. But if you're young, wouldn't it be easier to be in a stable relationship, get married when you're young, when you haven't got all that trauma?
Yes.
You haven't got all that experience. So as far as I'm concerned, the younger you can get married, the better. Because you're saying like, oh, you got to do this, you might have to do traveling, you might have to do this, you might have to do that, you might have to do this and do that. By the time you're 35, who wants you? You've done everything. Who wants you? You got to think to yourself, you're looking at all these stars, but what have you got to offer a man at 35 when you've been through everything, you've done everything, you've got all this history behind you, you've got all this trauma? Wouldn't it be easier while you're young to get your head together and just say, right, well, I'm going to find someone same level as me, I'm going to get married, the earlier the better. No trauma. Both enjoy the experiences together, learn together, grow together. By the time you're 35, you've done everything, and a man's going to look at you and think, what am I doing with her when I can go and get somebody younger?
Okay, so I feel like I have a lot of problems with a lot of things you said. One thing is you kind of made the assumption that you can't get trauma from a marriage. Like you said, one positive from marrying early is that you don't have trauma yet. You can have trauma from your childhood. Like, I wouldn't say that you should just equate being young with not necessarily having any problems, having experienced life. And another thing I would say is, again, I feel like marriage is a huge commitment that shouldn't be undermined. Like, once you've married someone, you're committed to them. Like, what they want, if they wake up tomorrow and they decide they want to move across the world, that impacts you. And those kind of things, those tendencies are more likely to happen when you're young and you're still trying to figure out life. So I would disagree with, you should aim to marry early.
So I have a question. What do you think is more traumatizing? One partner, or what would you say the average body count?
Well, I was being generous.
Yeah.
15.
Okay.
But by fact, in 15 years.
So let's say by 35, right? How many partners would that girl have had over the years? Like, what's more traumatizing? One, or...
Okay, so this is another problem. You can't equate someone's quality and who they are to their body count. Like,
so this is a common misconception that a lot of girls have, and the reason you can is because if a girl's a virgin on her wedding night, she has an 80% chance of a happy marriage. If she sleeps with 5 or more guys, it goes down to 25%.